amanyo ko ne fa ye wo Ghana marase bedwamo kyerɛ sɛ omode subo bi ebo NPP amanyo ko mu nipa bi efise omahunade bi a edikana editi
Electoral Commission din troya ogusuada ya wotro no Tano South mpeso so Divisional Police Commander ade afutuo amamabunu
wani a woye senka wotu aban no ade agu a bambofo eso mu ye ne emra ene wono omo edie no yewura baka voma wo hunsansam no court kwa atrase no wasan pia kwa animu
ana santamantamo so for your Simon or Semensa Bwana kwa Bwankra ane anuamade wodnani akohu bi
NDC amanyoko no ede sobo ebo Tesano Divisional Police Commander se wono aka ho bi na wo boa NPP amanyoko no mpanifo a omotwe enkwada omutwa nufo nkyeye no betwetwe omudin
ebika wenum ho ne yaboaboa no de besomo Express Group waso wade wo to fa do akokwase broni kromo ntia fa ho gimwe 21st clinic yesiatica expert mizo and 5G drink tayechi afai through herbal center wade through core capsules koko master drono enso krayemu a ana numero de baba somo yetamo live Facebook numo aya Sompa 93.1 YouTube ne ya Sompa TV aya mara few ajonchira na sosuye na dia for brepam ya bakenkan kama adiama ana numero somfoni ya mienu akosuya ajewa kwade boaten mene
nana kwabana kese Ghana mampani na nado dankwa ekufo ato ena ekasei ne nyina no eyese yewo enipa bi mu ho no mo madwuma nyina no eyese samemfa ne se bia edan ya wodam ena sa adwumayefo no aba ho no mo dia o mo ye ene se wodan na wodam no yehwe ne kese no a yebetimi ayi kwan de ato baabi ebia baabi wo ho no mo a ye de beye park baabi wo ho no mo a ye de beye edwa baabi wo ho no mo a ye de be si school dan e de aboa nkoda aha se car bitwam wo ha baabi nso wo ho no mo a car e begina ha lodu ene baabi wo se car gina ya de nyina sa surveyors ho asem ena ye kan ene wondwumadie bi abaso ma Ghana mampani na nado dankwa kufu ato wakopie mu e wa ase dwumadie no ase no asem tra na eda so no ene na eyebefua etre se wo wiase mimi wiase yenyina ye wiase yen kambom na yen fansi yo eniedene sabaje je betimi aboa toto niema na mpuntu mabatima fa ne ntampa ede afira Ghana mampani kasa ye mu no ode atodwa ye awo tere se ebraso efise na bibia no akoye apafo wusi wutrase kura utimi didwa ewa wo phone so wusi wutrase kura utimi tonsa ede fere obi utimi ni obia di nkomosa de wope ebre bm de hia na se bia wo credit ewa wo phone so ntene ebraso se ye nuam surveyors nso wakono apafo sabaye ade nyina betimi awie peyo na di ede aboa wo mo.
We have felt the impact of its initiatives, particularly in improving our land administration systems. These efforts are crucial as they influence directly our goals for economic growth, for increasing agricultural productivity, and for environmental conservation. It is our responsibility to ensure that as we develop, we do so in a manner that is sustainable. This sustainability can only be achieved through resilient environmental practices that are built into every aspect of our planning and development processes. Surveyors are at the forefront of this endeavor, providing the critical data and insights needed to make informed decisions that protect and preserve our natural resources. Moreover, the issue of climate change and its impact on land and water resources cannot be overstated.
International Federation of Surveyors Working Week. Jumadie no ase no na Ghana mampani na naro dankwa kufuado wode sansem etudwa.
Adwumafo nkabomko Trade Union Congress ade ato Senate adwuma no anim sa wo motete nsem bi awo monten so no mo sra Senate pa sa mo mana nyansa anya sa de a wo behu adwumafo wo mabufu hyew sababa won mo so ne nyina no yesa wo motete se hotels bi ya no no ya o mamu no de a Senate adwumako no na hweso no wo moton mu ha mu nchemu aduosia 60% shase ade ama yewura Brian Champion ya wono ayasoafo ya ohwe yemfudie ho ensam so na eno ananam so menei no adwumafo nkabomko altresa sasapa na tia sade wo motete no a ene na Senate ene adwumafo ani ne yekura sanse wo mo akasa kura no mo nneoma nkwa kentani mu dada mo Senate adwumako no mu esane enneoma se bi kakọ na pension ho sansam kura no mo ye na bibia ho bibia die ho no eno kra mo ne mo nkan wasam wie enti ade ayo mamu no die wasam mo hweso na mo hwesa ho sikasem betumi agina yie na mo ton mo ha mu nchemu aduosia sam de manipa ba akode a ene na anko yie kura enam saye so management ka mo ko ma France Central Function Civil and Local Government Staff Association Ghana opanyipa ya wodi animu Dr. Isaac Bampoado won na Central for akasaye ya wacha senate mpano to mpano no a wonyai anya sa pa de no mo yese wo mo de adwumafo sika ebebro chaskele dia ene na wo mo so ebeti bi ahua
government to know that these funds are not government funds. These funds are pension funds. And pensions are guarded by the Act 766. We have investment guidelines under Act 766. And clearly these guidelines have not been followed. Government should be aware that we will not allow them to play chaskele with our funds. Should they dare go ahead to be the mother of all strikes in Ghana? Thank you.
Anochi no chocho for panye demajme for kabomuku Dr. Yauba one so nano etwa semimo.
We the top leaders of organizing my brother and the bundle myself met with the workers, representatives, and the board of trustees of SMART. The purpose was to receive some briefing on the proposed sale of 60% of SMART's interest in some hotels. The workers' representatives informed us that they have collectively raised objections to the process and have advised that the process we find it extremely difficult to understand why Smith's interest in 6 hotels will be packaged and sold as if all the hotels are in the same financial position. Second, we find it difficult to understand why the original proposal of the sale of Smith's interest in 6 hotels has now reduced to 4. We hold the view that this renders the whole process null and void. 3. The proposed payment terms, we have observed that the proposed payment terms are varied from the original MOU based on the recommendations of the transaction agents. We also find it difficult to understand why Smith's interest in these hotels should be sold to a company owned by the Minister of State. We do not think this is right.
I was away a church for Panye Dema Ajmefo Kawamoko Dr. Yauba.
Akabo so make a carabina ye kwakwakotoaba obia e preniti. Kanema mpene John Dramani Muhammad ya tuya ya wotrese osre pa nyamesom fakuo ahodo ye wo Ghana han wosre wo moada obia enye na afamu de nyese bia o mafamu de na ombeye no omukogina semasi anase obenti achi awoso omugina emfimfini sade beye a baabia ade ne beto no obia no enya mrase pobia ne musakobase bia adwuma no omoye ne wiase nyina ehwe omo se omo ye obia yetimi etumirika de ye ho etwere omo ewasomdue mu ma ne yeyie ne ntino se de omo beye no nsunsuanso de beba no Ghana fo betumi akasa ye kansa mpa sade enkofo si adwuma de omo tamnyuko anase biachi wosre omo adase obia anye na afamu de sebe ya asumdue abato nanim abato no mu ene abato nachi
paying for the election. And we believe that as moral voices of society, you must not take your eyes off the ball. The EC is the arbiter, the EC is the umpire, and the EC must not only be neutral, it must be seen to be neutral and non-partisan. Unfortunately, recent events do not give us confidence about this. There is a president who is appointing politically, exposed people into positions of trust where they are supposed to be neutral and non-partisan. And so people who have been communicators for the party, people who have been IT backstops for the party, today are commissioners of the Electoral Commission. How do you expect them to be neutral and fair in what is happening? People who were patrons of TESCON on campus are today commissioners of the Electoral Commission. How do we expect them to be neutral and fair in what is coming up? And so it means that we must be vigilant, we must be more alert. We as political parties are going to use the instruments that are provided in the Electoral Code to ensure that the election is free and fair. We're going to train our party agents. We're going to incentivize them to be vigilant on the day. We're going to make sure that we are at the collation centers on time and we witness the tally of the results. We're going to police the election every step of the way. But sometimes there are things that are difficult to control. For instance, our last complaint was about recruitment of returning officers. You heard Hobson Adoye on radio say that they took MPP executives from Kumau and brought them to a Jusu by-election as returning officers. And there are pictures of some of them who are executives. And we are not able to check it because the CI says that 14 days before an election, before the by-election, we were supposed to have the list of returning officers and be able to make an objection if we believe that somebody is a politically exposed person. We went to a Jusu by-election without the list of returning officers. And so it was possible for them to recruit people who were party activists as returning officers.
Kanema mpani John Dramani Mahama ena yetene nkan wamananso honomu a wasade ensem bibiri esoso ya o kyerkyere mu se baabi a yaduru no Ghana fo nyina nsoso e wo chefa wo mu waso obi ahwe na woye nadwuma. Nicholas Duncan Williams, founder ene opani ya woda asafo wato den Action Chapel ano ena ogina mu a ono so ekasa ye ede masa nyamsomfa ku no so de nsem bibiri ena tudwa na yewura nsem a ode tudwa ni.
The masses, there is too much pain and suffering in this country. All our doctors and our nurses are leaving this country. And we just pray that things will be well handled and managed in transparency and fairness, that we will not end up being refugees in any other country, because without proper fairness and honesty and transparency, things may fall out of hand. And may I say this, that nobody should think that the Ghanaian is a very gentle, don't like trouble human being. It's not true, because I saw what happened 79 and 81, and they were Ghanaians. And some of the violence and the murderers and unrest in certain parts of this country, like what's going on in Boko and other places, they are all Ghanaians. And if we don't manage things well, and we have this mentality and thinking that any party can do whatever they want to do, and the Ghanaian will accept it, and the Ghanaian will live for it, you might be playing with fire. Make no mistake. Because when people are desperate and are hungry, they don't care about what happens. And hungry and desperate people are very dangerous people to manage and to deal with. When demons come into town and possess people, then you will know that maybe you really didn't understand the Ghanaian, because when a demon enters a person, it doesn't care about your tribe or your citizenship. It rules you. So I think that, Mr. Former President, and to your party, we should be very aware of some of these things. I wouldn't.
Era Duncan Williams ena yetene nkai.
Afeye ko mrashe bjofie. Omaichi omehene yo mrashe bjofie yera Albon Sumana Babin na wode atudwa. Atrese wobasre pa akanna no kakra ne akwakoto aba ewo mayimu. Na Ghana fo nyina so nimpefe se abato no fakase no ano. Aya na gina mrashe bjofo so se won behwe wo mu so yie na ankofa ntokwa menteme wase penche biada amfa mampeso ahodo so. Wase ne kasa wo beka no se ya kasa fin anase mpoya kasa to asumuo no eno tumi kofo how kase de bra wo man no ya emu asodie no enkoda ene hunu ho amane anansa ya so nti wo basere no hye odwafo se ena kakra ya aka ya nimuo no womba se womba ran wo man no se ya mra hye odwafie na won mo kasa anase mpomba pie mo ntenso man semtrofo ne won mo di nkomo no asem biata womba kana nkoye kasa twitwi a ede wo haw ne amane beba no wachina bi ye kebe mamenka bi no akwa akose no.
In recalling Parliament, I am guided by the principle that the public interest must always be paramount. Our actions and decisions in this House must, however, reflect the will and aspirations of the Ghanaian people, and we must always try to uphold the highest standards of integrity and accountability. Honorable members, as we conduct our deliberations, it is important to recognize that we are in an election year. This is a critical time for our nation, and we must all act responsibly to safeguard our democracy and ensure a peaceful transition of power. I urge each of you to be mindful of your words and actions, both within and outside this chamber. We must eschew conduct that could breed chaos or undermine the integrity of our democratic institutions. Let us conduct ourselves with dignity and respect, upholding the values that define us as a nation. While we are in an election year, we must remember that we still hold the mandate for until the expiry of our mandate on the stroke of midnight of 6th January 2024. It is our duty to act in the best interest of the nation, putting aside personal agendas.
Arusiani atene kai ayachia mehene ya womra shebodwo fiera urban sumana babin.
Ade no yesi ewra Brian Champon wato ebisa won toy ebisa Ghana no yasan akan ho biom conflict of interest bi ekoso ewo ba bi ne nyina no ye nsemo a akoso sade akoso ya kase no hyase odi kan ekirikiri mu edema wo no na aka ho bi ama NDC amanyoku no mraso odwo ne dem adese ya ewo nofton baton pesua no so ewa Samuel Okujato abrakwa no se Ghana is in the building. Ghana no Ghana de chese wiase na ye bae no bibia no eye possible ya kire se odwene ho ba bia onte ase na nti obusa se pa no ede pa na ekoso nsam de wabusa bebere pa ede afasa hotel no ton no ho bese aton yedama yewura Brian Champon abeti film rase wedwane o man so afo hweku adwuma ne ho nsam so no Ghana fo pensam ati wo ho pa sa asam no eye no kra na se enye no kra ne nsam twrofo wane ye na kasa mo no so akirikiri nsam kakra ede afa ho akire sade niema esiko ne ba bia osusu se wono no yewura Samuel Okujato abrakwa asam no etwafa ebetumi aboa.
If you look at the statements Nate has put out, they respond to the fundamental issues. The crux of the matter is totally avoided. Nate is engaged in avoidance. I have raised the fundamental issue of conflict of interest. Why should Honorable Brian Champon is not part of it? So the Honorable Brian Champon should have been nowhere near this transaction. Absolutely nowhere near. Nate has not addressed that fundamental issue. Number two, Nate failed to address the issue of you cannot just claim that Rock City presented the best financial and technical proposal and all the other 14 were not qualified. Where is the evidence? NIT does not provide the evidence. If you look at their own statement, they say that they started this procurement process in November 2018, 14 November 2018. Rock City commenced its operations a year after, November 2019, according to this, and we have acted above board. Prove that. That is why I am glad that these matters are before Shraj, and Shraj is going to look into the grave matters of conflict of interest, of ineligibility to participate in this process under Article 78, Article 98 of the Constitution, the procurement violation, the cronyism, the graft, the insider dealing. I am happy that all of these matters are going to be delved into, and perhaps the only positive note with this new statement is their announcement that they will fully cooperate with the Shraj investigation. That is the only positive thing I see about this case. You cannot just say he provided the best. Best on what grounds? You must provide us with the full particulars. Why is NIT hiding the names of the other companies who participated in the bid? Why is NIT refusing to provide evidence of the so-called superior bid by Rock City. Don't forget that I have published a similar transaction between Rock City and Smith, which turned out to be a total rip-off. The Kumasi Catering Center, now known as the Grand Regency Hotel, Smith sold its 25% share to Rock City. I have put
Ene ya etwagu ye North Town Marasebedwani Yera Samuel Okujeto Abrakwa.
Mampanya be de Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia na wotwena wiye no wakɔwa. Na wone nanan mahemfo ene kwohia ye ewowa. Ya wone wa na fuseni seidu pepu ya otoso nan ekodi kasasi. Kasasi no achie no no de beto dwa atro se. Wono no se wo yi ne mampanya be de kira wodi ene tumi a wo pese mampanyini ne si nkyɛn a sabin producer onim de pa ya tetini wo fie sa de frana temdidie kase twitwie kase bɔ man ahye man no ebi pie mfiri na numu ema enam sayo sunti nananom ahemfo nsɛm a wɔn moka wɔn mafotuo ne nsɛm wɔn ne di kasasie nyina ta no wɔhwɛso wɔde bɛyɛ adwuma na na campaign na wɔyɛ ne messages ahodoɔ ya wɔde atu dwa no kasafi bia mpie mfiri mu ma ne mmom no adeɛ baako ɔde asene ne so pa no sɛ ne botaye na ne suade hunu enuoma eba ma Ghana yakon kan eno ne ade obeka ne mmatam de ebi ennenum.
2024 election is one that is very important for this country, and I am very much guided by your advice, and that advice, as you have already said, is one that I have been implementing. I am sharing my ideas with the people of Ghana with no insults to anybody, just my ideas as to what I want to do if by the grace of God, I am president of this country. And this is how I have been campaigning throughout, talking about what we have done and talking about what we want to do. I have many ideas that I want to implement. I want to focus a lot on farming and how we can help the farmers of our country. Agriculture is my number one priority. Extending agriculture, bringing irrigation, bringing technology to bear. And that is something I want to help with. Our healthcare, our education of our children at the basic level and beyond, and technical training. All of these, and also our infrastructure, we have a lot to do. But I believe that so far our government has done quite a bit, even if we haven't done everything. We've done quite a bit in the Upper West region, in the Wala traditional area. The achievements are very significant.
Abusawari aye mampanya be de Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia.
Dom kuma no bosso bo bi no wafra se de wonsa tretre aban so se nyame anim ne kwane a aban no de bambo ho nsam enamuo no hadwen ne nyira no ene se Marasebedwane de masemasi ya wo abaton pesua no so bi abaton pesua no so se ye nuanom ewie school no bi pese bi a wura ebi abambo adwuma no mu a yese ko MP asemasi ho ko MP asemasi ho ko MP asemasi ho ampani ampa no obekɔ no na ebi a MP kro no a ebi a unim no no na krata tententente besa hodo besa 9 anase bia enum na egu ne mpanatifi ho adane a mitimi me yefa obi wo police mitimi me yefa obi wo immigration mitimi yefa obi a soja mu obi anso nya soja obekɔ obi anya police a obekɔ obi anya immigration service a obewuram na ja se sa MP kro no so afa ho na otwa abe ebewi akire no na uhia police ni bi e wakwan so hwe nanim din hwe ne mpaboa no besi ni tua no a wotumi se wei no ye police station agent de man pipi amanyoko no be hwe nanim din na ja se ensam a NDC amanyoko no eka na eyade se hadwen na yentie sa de yewura atoba forcing ebra na alterate nsemu na wo ka de enti a onim se asemu a wo ka no omo se eye nokore no yentie kwan fa so kirikiri moy.
To remind His Excellency the President, President Akufo-Addo, and the Vice President Alhaji Bawumia, that they will not have their way this time round, regardless of whatever maneuverings that they will roll out in the 2024 elections. We will resist these shenanigans with all our might and all our strength. Our members, our supporters and sympathizers will not just defend themselves against unlawful attacks by the NPP thugs in uniform. we shall hold these NPP hoodlums personally responsible for their unlawful violation of the laws of Ghana and the legitimate rights of our people. Ladies and gentlemen, it is in the interest of the NPP foot soldiers to act lawfully or face the full consequences of their actions and the wrath of our supporters. Just as the minority protested vehemently against the politicization of our security services through illegal recruitment in 2019, we once again demand that recruitment into all the security services be halted forthwith to allow for advertisement to be made with the qualification criteria duly spelled out for all to see. By so doing, we would have created equal opportunity for all Ghanaians who would then be selected on the basis of merit and not cheap partisanship and nepotistic consideration. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe that this practice must stop.
Yewura ya ono dom kuma no ba no tani edema o madwuma ko enyame sema baton pension so mra sema dwade no Dr. Atoba Forson.
Chief Superintendent Joseph Obey Divisional Police Commander Tano South abato empeso so na wode atodwa atrose nyame adom so electoral commission de ntwera wo bia moto wo me ya hyase bepem sese no enioma akotote pa eno so nkyera se wo se nipa benum de mra hye wono nsam na wo mba ya niamo wo nsam nioma ansam fata na wo nia wo so nya mfihia ne dun wotwe wo se wo ba betwera wo din sa kyenkyene atwan mfihia dun wotwe ne wanya wo se kwa ba no saade ne abambofo a wo mota no south be hwese wo nia ne de wo begina ba bia o se fata
nam se nipa su ewo yeso nti obi a pese obi ebesisi no nam se ye wo man na oman bra asese embere ewo se ye faso eye bibia nti na fotu ameto obi a ne se ye ni nye bibi ho a ewo se ye follow due process because registration ye the whole guidelines and the whole mara ayede aba ye oman ba bia se de se ye follow mara na pepepe. Yes, when you're 18 years, or you're Ghana and you're register. Before so be trying na more fee say or register. Also, who said or collectina over registration center, be a well not pretty for grand, who bears a 15, now FP for so bears a 10. At the baby or more train said, obedience and who be ever now or my sorry at the end. Who are over you want me say, Obama at the end of Coson and Bravo. Na yenso apresi for yasodie se yenhwese obi abedi mraso enti wo abeya atam se obesi kwan ama bebi ankoso obi an tuni ni ama apresi for so almost all the necessary force na ehia se ye de subdue we be ye no almost so follow na Ghana for ewo nyina so obi ebeso odi nsem hunu wo registration center say ye ne wo party ye ne party ye wo ye nye no na nya wo ye tia Ghana wo say ye nyina ye ma Ghana interest na eto ya koma so more than our personal interest in the party.
Where are your Chief Superintendent Joseph Opon, Divisional Police Commander Tano South?
National Security for ena afrasa enimu otu anamobia ebra yewura bakavama wona wo free UK abrochimemu eba wo maimu ana ye yire ne dankana yire ne to yire na no ne nyina etrese wagina abefo tentafidie no so aka asem bia nsam no a wokeka no na kyerese upiepia so ekwa animu a na kyerese ni su ene ne ban ene kasa no nyanya mu nyina no kyerese onya ban a obetu edi egu na yenso nyina so yenim se kabi mamen kabi ene ye de adwuma ewo oman mu na no aka ho bi ama bra aprosifo eche no asam no ye ba ene court asako atenase presiding judge ya wotena asam no so Justice Mary Ekwe Yanzu wono na etena asam no so na no ebra ye de owura yi begina daka na ne manimfo nso esore no mbusa no se ensam ya ensam a aban empanifo etworoye ede fa asam no ede be no ne nsa kabi no so o ne nsa nyanka asam no nemom no wate ho popoye sa de asam no esi ekro na omo kire se asam no so wunya nteye de a ene ye bomu na ye de a kire wo kire se ye de sobo mienu na ebo wo ba ko eye se usu ene wo ban wo ne ye no kire se wunya ban ya ubetu ade agu ebiemu nso de to so mienu eye ade a etimi hye wo man fisen semo na wokeka no na ani anyan na ebra court ekwa atrase no ena omo kire se nyame ya adomo a May bosono da toso aduonu enson eno besan hwe na wasan ato asem no eso na chese ne court no obia atena so semtwerofo wo ho epede ebekọ yewura vama wo ensam no ati na ebra bibia ekoye na opie ye no wo de tinsam a wo de ma ye ne
and knowing that they were subverting the laws of this country in order to achieve the political vendetta that the president had formed against myself and members of the country. It has been over 2 years since that incident. And in that interval, we have gone to the Supreme Court several times to compel the Republic to show up in court and prove the evidence that they claim they have against us. Every single day we come before this court, a court that is supposed to be committed to justice, a court that is supposed to give to each individual in this republic a fair trial. Consistently, we've been met with nothing but tricks and adjournments. Now, for so many of you, we have continued to emphasize the point that we have before a regime that is not committed to the rule of law and to ensuring that every citizen lives to the promise of this democracy. It continues, and you continue to see the charade of what has happened so far. Now, for them who paraded over 50 armed individuals and snipers, for them who believe that we were a threat to this republic, for so long they have not been able to match those words with the evidence that is required in this trial. Today, again, we have appeared before the court, where we filed an application challenging the constitutionality of the charges that were brought against him. Over 2 months, the Attorney General has chosen today, this morning, when they were supposed to commence trial, to come and file a response. And even though our lawyers, aware of these tricks, told the judge that we were waiving any opposition to the response that they filed today, the judge has refused to hear us. Again, none of this is a surprise to us. But for those of you who believe that in fact this is a regime or this is in fact a democracy, well, you have it before your eyes. What you do with that information is up to you. But we are clear that wherever in any society where justice is not delivered to its citizens, it's a society that will not last long and peace will not prevail.
Enumere no nsia bere mekase na yeguso a yeden 7 ma Sompa TV so ne Sompa 93.1 FM okumase Sompa 90.7 wo bono ne po FM Sompa 98.9 wo sunwane na afen so hafo ne mpoto nyina ne aka bomu a yeden sam no ebra wo yakua ni mo nsam fofrom
yakoya nim na asantamantam so afoye wa Simon wa Semensa enne wo bonan akwa integrated logistics terminal na kwa wakoye ni nyina no ya Ghana ban ana sa dwumade sonkun wafa ho ka Ghana Shippers Authority and Ghana Port and Harbours Authority warmoshe sa wobetumi asie na aboa amoma Ghana etumi akwankan ebra wakoye ni nyame anim nie ayerokwasi bafo sapon wono ayepanye kwankyerefo a Ghana Shippers Authority wadano ka sa pinu a church pempen so a ene dwumade no akwakodru
economic growth and regional trade facilitation, not only for Ghana, but also for our neighbors in the Sahelian countries. The importance of this project cannot be underscored. It is designed to stimulate economic activity within the middle belt and northern regions of the country, to transform Ghana into a major manufacturing hub, an export processing zone, and also spur the country to become a multimodal transportation hub. The project will be pivotal for handling imports and exports, particularly in the middle belt and northern regions of the country, and also our transit neighbors, including Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, which will further establish Ghana's role within the framework of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which is headquartered in Ghana. With the project's proximity to major seaports and accessibility to road networks, the project would reduce significantly transportation costs and enhance operational efficiency at ports and alleviate congestion at the ports of Tema and Takrady.
And what you know, Santama so for was Simon was Simon Sanda Toso, so one was a Cassam Nat and China Nasa, the National Cracker Crajumedino, Equanim.
Around Huni Valley, ho baby, that you ought to us where Huni Valley, Abaha, Nabia, Walenki from Abia Bessia Kukumasi to Buankra, a shorter. 8 years, I think say a bit Eastern. Intermediate, I'm looking forward to Serbia, and I'm say you beat me a developer Western Railway. Now, bedroom. Senior Sanya, mammy, and saying, Impuntu, a beba santimemu, any mantama hodwa, or more gun and fin, edicus ribuno, a becosro and tentem. A bema yen fiha, ye link, any amanoni, yankutan hudia, yanyama noni. Efo bedino ebeye mre That's a by air or by sea. So, fa, we don't near my fa poso, abba. Gonya the ebidra, tree no the bedding, ever. And ye fair we munswa, bit me two if ye be a Gatwick, or UK, no abast. You see, Kumasi, Abema, and you know, aye, and tem. Tia we ma Bema and Puntu no ako, so tentem. Now, the American views when they say, construction of Jumano, kumu, and I won't ben woman, I won't see, or Majumana si papa. Jumano, dear Dino, one higher the young fat. And the air says, who be see die, who see die, or two foundation, I know. Will be fine there, who near dying. Meanwhile, foundation in a tre, a diner hoarding, I obey. Inti biara se bia obi ye kwan nzo obi ye kwan a omtimi chewo drains no any culverts ni bridges no ho be no eno ye ne ye yi a emadwuma no so ye den ejina eno so na eden inti sa Wankra inland port asema ye ken adwuma na o ma ye sisi no adwuma no na eden na e form no be bi ho ya cheche no so mu ya cheche ni nyina efirim.
Why I Santamantamo so for your Simon was Simon's.
Ya kan for the amount say anwumere say bia oyemu atim anase bia sisiade na hawa e ma wure bisa for herbal center na draw your friend Coco Master na koso ade konkon sa ofa no kwa na eno na wose bo modema wonsa eka bie abusuade wo mu ne say wo a wanya sisiade pa na enko na yemtim ani Coco na hawa no 3A herbal center na tie Mr. Heba Colinac Danny Heba na afen so pedank ya tundro yedi apete ba bia wo hye bia ye de no so sa wonom a enya de se ebefa woyem emfa woyem obetimi anom akwa adwuma obetimi anom atukwan ebra wo hawo ene amane bia enim wo sa hawo yi bia na se bia wonim obi asa hawo ne amane bi na ha no a 0546107107 0546107107 ema wo refi se mizo 5G de afra ne de yemfra ye ewo ho nyame ya adom na wonsa ka bia ni je ne ahrusie nko a ba bia to nsuo bia no ne bia no so pemizo de yafra ne de yamfra no wusia Dr. Selassie adodo na no wonsa ebeka mani kasam ne hintasam wa kire se mantam du nsia ne nyina hunu se Dr. Selassie enu ama no na omonam ya wodi bi ebrew ewo aboboa no gibi badinto ase gibi ayi ase gibi ba bia yefro ase ba bia obi ase ye mizo de yafra ene de yamfra nuaba hodo ne ye akeka bomu ye na egine padua ne si ye te wanim ewo pomdene ekwan so 0246 270 221 0246 270 debia metena se ya meka ede kire se ade no ya friend sciatica me pa chaw yare se wonyim a enye wadwen se debia wote sciatica wo Sompa TV ntino wo de beto ba yare mesre wo ada sciatica na so wo pa chi sa na aso wotabi woto na afa wo sirem wo na kokomu hodom ba wanantu na etwam afa wo nanu abesi wo na apo no sifom no abusua yare we no eso mu a na kyese efieja ya dumu anesa na tie enu na 21st clinic aheda aboka na eka ye boye no ya heda ye hwehwemu ade afa yare no fare bai ho ba bia yare no hyase de ekọ yare nanim yare nimu ne na chinyina no na yetu ase ne sayenti no bra hahama enua hini ana ye de ye adwuma e wo ye na tena ye ho na de wo mo ne se obisa obesa wo sciatica yare no na nye 21st clinic a mesra wo ya dwene ho mienu efese omo ne sciatica expert na busua de wo mo ne se ye nkrabata ne dose mantam dun sere nyina ne ye wo ho wo kyena nyame ya adomo a yare nka ye bia ka ho bia nso ye ho adwuma hwehwemu bia pese ye wo dwonso ne wo mogya mu no ne nyina nso ye ho adwuma brane hohoro wa wo de enu mawo na mu yare bi na wakote ne ade a ne nyina no ye beboa wo na ya gye wo ade afimu se kasa na wo ka no e bia wo ntia asante kasa wo nso a wo nte brofo ene bia wo de wani kyerem ye nkrabata na bi wo ho no mu akasa bia wo ka bia no obeboa wo na watimi a kyerɛkyerɛ de wo so ye ebra wo doctor besia no a kyerɛ doctor wo sesei na ya gye wo okɔ acha asimaduonu na wo na wo kɔ wani mu ye nkrabata no dɔso ye ne sciatica expert no 0540 311 0540 311 311 nipa de wo ho no ma na wa express ho kakranti express group some cancel say de wo kwa ma wakusua de e wa ma no ne ba bia ya wo pesa wo kɔ say dan na wusi anka wo de asobo fam kopim say wutu akotena dan num dan ho asiesie dan ne sie ne bibia no ye boa ma wonsa kan we no de wutu kwanti de wo mo ne say nyame ya dom na wo mo bo emponu mpo a won krata asem ba bia wo kotena de wo koye wo kosua de wo koye adwuma wo kosra wo bi de wo pesa wo koye na manane bia no frankata asem ina kodran express group na omomwa wo boa mo express ho ebra wo ti pray mo express ho bra wo amana no waye wadwuma ebra wo bia no enkan agyi asempa wo ho ya netie na de wo mu ne say Kumasi Asafo Labor Runabout to one more ho na fe so enkan kana se first light no o ho no mo a o ye adwuma express group eya express ho na nipa ba wi ase e ba je den 0552 827787 0552 827787 wona da roma ye to nkreta no ya ba ensempia ka kira ye de besoso
21st clinic aye sciatica expert sciatica no o nerves na wo to ase na fa wo siremu na fa wo nasia besi ase ho no se ho techema eno ene ye fa ne sciatica na etimi bubu o to ase ka wo se dwe wo sirem wo je ho ba bia enye na no na 21st clinic ba ye adwuma pa wo mu ye ntia basobo o magye no wo Ghana ha ene amono ne enya asem ketewa Womuji international awards ahodo womuji local awards ahodo na anu nso na womu be the only sciatica research and treatment center in Africa bibrim hano ebi ni baby a gise 21st clinic nkoa womu de bibiduro ene besa o yare no masa de machine aka ho eya yare sabia yare bia wutimi de ko ne mama de ba ko a woma gidi womu pa no eye sciatica ena stroke nso de kwa diabetes ne hypertension ne ade ne ade Ghana ha ba bia womu ho 0540 311 311 0540 311 311 That's a 21st clinic. Woman is sciatica expert.
Introducing Mixer 5G Sparkling Drink, a whole new refreshment in a can. Mixer 5G is a tasty non-alcoholic drink. It is a perfect companion for all your events, including parties, weddings, and funerals. It is made with green tea, ginseng, guarana, grapes, and grapefruit. Get refreshed with Mixer 5G Sparkling Drink. For bulk purchases, contact 0246 270 221. This advert is FDA approved.
Brakasa ye duabon waso a ne dwumedi wo nipedua biara pom den ene na brabo mu ne hienye pa enye brakasa nko nuaba ne haban bi te se ko nsusu a abonwono ne dia akeka ho no kura enwanunu ahodo a ekọ animu yi ankasa brakasa ne sa nuaba yi binom ne akeka bobudi afa abefo kwan so a ye de aye brakasa powder brakasa powder siesi nipedua na abakwa ahodo no ho ban afiri mpani yade ne yade ahodo pi ho fa enkodate de ma baako freduane anopa ne anwumre anafa enkodate de ma baako woni sushie yeti anopa ne anwumre wobra wodidi awie ubenya brakasa powder to Kingswalk Herbal ne Heroes Herbal Accra Okesi Drug Lane Dani Herbal Kumasi Mensa Takrade Mose Pharmacy ne Greenlight Pharmacy Sunwane Cash and Carry Supermarket Asantoa Herbal ne Bibidro Depot Techiman Sewa Herbal Mampong etufo mfre 0550 19 1514 brakasa powder aduane san yedro FD ahwehwe sankratu mu agiatum
Sompa TV Emma Akituapa
Yada wase na yamawo akwaba ekwan sonko so yekọ yanim na yekọ ensamfoforo mu a ena ensamtrofo nhia mudie bi akoso na we na eye nkansia ni kese afa ene afa na eye saa ensamtrofo nhia mudie yi na nyina no eye saa ndi samanyoko no okan kunof ena afenso no mfimfiri mantamu de wo gina mu ede ama NDC amanyo eku no ena oto nsafre ensamtrofo ewa Chimota District Registration Center ho enkran mantamu ya kyerese wode eniema egu akwan mu Chairman Gregory Kwashi ena wakasa yi na asɛm a wɔde tu dwa nyina no ene sɛ nyamea nim no no de wɔdɔhre ka na tia wo hu da sɛ wɔno de wɔntwa nkontompo da kɔpem sɛ wiase bɛsɛyɛ de wɔ mu nie sɛ wode wani kyerɛ mu ɛwɔ Tasa no Divisional Police Commander hɔ no nso a papa no ɛyɛ nneɛma bi a anasɛ maame no ɛyɛ nneɛma bi a na mmea nim nie wɔdwene ho baabi a wɔnte aseɛ o Tasa no Divisional Commander wo de yɛyi wo sɛ yɛ adwuma wo gyina mfimfini hwɛ sɛ wobɛbɔ nkwa na japadeɛ ho ban maami NDC for kyerɛ sɛ maami na ebua NPP form wo twen koda ifira kire honum akoda bi wonum so obusa ne se ne din de sen no de nsa henanum no we ne mowere ohwe nanim din utum sa akoda yi otwa no fo nchai kura enkoda ne bi kura honum a wo di line mu a obehwe ne botom no na feeding bottle esem ya ne koko ne maami aka koko de aka ne ho a ne school bag bo na chie ne nyina no ya de ha dwen na nsam de o ma brobi so ne papa enti o moy.
The divisional police commanders, Chief Superintendent Anita Brokwa, of political parties, no, and the election officer, the municipal election officer, echo meeting them. Now, you all can say, or say, order from above, directly from above. I own the phone, so all can say, so will be a basic amount for a register, and maybe a new ATS exercise. And this will be by political parties, and my prevent you be a. Say will be become a young challenge form na yen feel it. And then I yen and say, yes, sir, and man yen so. Because maybe a new a support in your can. CI 127 HSA regulation 22 HSA before we talk about baby and also we transfer what about constituency bimuno. I say we na sa constituency for not less than 1 year. And so no say will be bas me my stop there. Ye tuni fu say onu mom on tu yefo say yenye the right thing mema yem base but onu mom ase or encourage basing na say bas ni ba dia e ma yenye hwe dia sai ma no na say
na chairman echire no mara se bedwane de ma de say ya ewo okanko no for baton person so nabo Teresa Ladi Awuni wono so na wo ho wono so kire se men so meka bi pa na semni
yam boa ye ho na ye ntwen e ha your okanko no I will defy any order that is not in the law. And you me pese me show biabo. Me show me man for nyina abo. Say yen tutu emrase. Obi anya dia enni makwan mu. The bibia and that emra kwan mu e fa registration ho no. I promise you that we will deliver it. That's me say. Yen tina kromu ha. E mania ense ne ensata Emma sabi sabohe na say pramonte dia ne eba o media MPP for the candidate abo kan kwe no for muntu menton eti ya no mo probidi na abata ya no mo probidi na abata na se kan no mo te ya se garage me se me e magari de maso me so ma ko garage madam sidi power parliament me man for ni mu say omo how ye me how akwetema Aloboshi Christian Village any kisema anumla kwanwe ya nsuo yiri pa wo munim say yakona omo candidates any message ntino omo di bibia omo beye bia dia for ye ho
Teresa Awuni echino ena di wo gyina mu ewo Okankwe Central ndi samanyoko no edimu Baba Sadek nso ebo no posi
the police commander gave which referred to a directive she got from the superiors to all parts of a grant scheme by our opponents to use the security agencies to give them an unfair advantage in the elections this year. So one of the things we are serving notice to them is that NDC in the constituency, we are law-abiding, we're good citizens, we would want to go through the process very well with everybody. We believe that when the elections are conducted in a fair and just manner, we win the elections in good constituencies. However, if they are going to resort to any intimidatory tactics or they are going to use the security agencies against us, we will resist it. We will resist it in the law-abiding way as much as possible.
Ekobia offer won say concern taxi drivers here wo sunyane abusia wo so na kasai wan mo kire say GPRT nkrabata wo sunyane ani wo mo ni ye kura ani ade mo ni ma na to agege wo mo je to ni wi a sabayi a wo mo de baboa ama taxi station won so ahoni die ma pa ba wonom kakrada no eno so kwakwa ebo achibidin wo mo kire say kan obi ama won mo dwuma won mo ye no eduru mebe na sensuo toto a na wire tantan wonya ba bia na do na ya si ya wo mo srampa Fose sanka wo mutu ho na mo kakra de aboa wo mo a anka wo mo so ani betumi age ho ensentwofo hye mu die ne dwumadie sonko akoso e wo sunyane monten so oro ya wo ajeyi wono ana kasa ye de ma consent taxi drivers say no sen nsemfai
sunyane station no eye me maame me krom dumasu ya me firi ameda e ho ye me papa efise maame ne nu aduane mabadi na papa mam apep dabre amame nti station na me de hwe me yire ne me ma hona me didi me firi me krom duma su aba ho anopa no numu a me ko na abobe no so ana na wotwe nti mmere dodo ni nyina me se no wa ha na se ho asei na se montumi mmoa me yenya adwuma dia me kase metue sika sempoa ana taku ama assembly ama GPRT ya na meditro
okay
nti omo se omo ma me nwura station ho enya adwuma efise o mako Jeffrey assembly ho na migusu a me ye adwuma o station ho bia ntumi ma ho me ka kire o mo se me de me ka si ho na de obebo no hu musuo so obelo ko me ka no me de nyame asem da no me pagya me nsa
nyina ye tie Sompa FM
ra me police station nyina me gyan nti me gyan ne se o lo ko me ka se me video me do be ma me lawyer
ano chinoro Douglas Damoa wono yesunya the branch secretary de ma GPRTU asem yi wono so be yi ano
no mo de aba na sa papa ye waje a wo kana tema owo nchen ho minimum pa 1 GPRT taxi branch was Sunyana. 1 onye member. GPRT taxi branch was Sunyana. Members but you are onye member. 2 driver bia with the car bus station to so be register car no. Bisana say ono ne taxi na o chi si ya o chi no. Wa ba be register GPRT taxi branch ha na. Register and I will cry. There was a time I organized boys to be on more between any station of some more more multi branch for now GPRT umrano so say obi o route to be around so oh to another branch that was the same route and to the original secretariat and I reading FM.
Where aye Ora Douglas Damoa no Sunyana branch secretary de ma GPRTU.
Yembra and Samfo from where na such as South DC honorable Captain Recklin ene wasuma ne boafo so nkonse omra na omeje emo ene akade bi no mfa na ni enchiremu na wonkoye ayebi emfa ema no ne nyina ene se yewo enipa bi ewo Asante Jamase a sabi omaso asi omani nso ehunade ya kire se akoya sefem pa de ma wo mu wiase a omo baye omo a omo hunade o kasa nso a omo ente nanso so enima bebere ehia wo mu ewo sukuu na omo wo mu no na nansan ana ensam no ebetwa fa ba fontentafidie no so a kire se ye maame ehunu bi ye maame no wode aye na koma wo mu kama na so akoye de ma wo mu de nanso no wo kan nsem kire se ade bi wo ho no mu a ya na ehadwen sam wo hawo ene amane bi a eya mo mfa mbara sukuu mu ho anase bia momfa mana assembly ho na momwan kankere ye ne ehunu kwampa yebetumi afa so a yebetumi akomomoa na kobasa bia mo gina ba fontentafidie no so na mo to nkra na mo toto boba park no so sa no a eyade se ehadwen wode soma yewura NS Frempong manson se wonye na onko sukuu mu a na nsem bia era Frempong manson ede ma ye ne
ye on ye te say school for the day for omo enyane amudi asa in fact ma meti ye no I am happy because Saturday, of course, when the car administration I say, telephone watch Mamma Menere, Yasuti, and I want more government as to say, a course in the school here. Yeah, I'm taking the tea and say, the damn when we say, Munian Yasa. And Mamma Tutti, and one that's way all but I not so Mamma, all but I ain't. But she was Debbie, the Maguia, or Money Manos, so accommodate any woman. Yeah, people in Noano, or Gada, and more. Motor 70 the moon and now mostly they say your family your family for the police we also say no kakra sana mandi kono ya hu gebere ya be to
abusia we eyura and somewhat what the my na enuachi assistant head teacher ya wo school honum Kumado Richard ono so den sam kakra ma nsam tro for say
18 May 2024 the DC South Madam Catherine Retno Abe Adoya prefer more bags and one curtains and the other is and task teaching staff or teaching and I'm us na mention Yaniaso well yes school one say asama called and I'm say let me say for that interview yeah and ya pa na no pay no come say be afraid mpanyinfo afra ne sɛ ɛsɛ yɛde nam nti ɔno kwan na ɛyɛ no wawo but nokorɛ ɛne sɛ like everybody's school issues kakra
abusua ɛdɛmu bɛsi ha na anwummerɛ na ɛdɛmu bɛsi ha sɛ ya na kyerɛ sɛ yɛbɛto nkra kakra bi na yɛaba me sɛ nkaebɔ kakra wɔ hɔ na yɛde asɔ so de ama anwummerɛ yɛmfa sedama owura asante yɛboa Benedict